Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Coffee Talk. I'm actually doing Coffee Talk. I'm visiting some friends today, and so Coffee Talk's at a new place, but I brought my coffee mug and my favorite coffee. I'm actually drinking a coffee called Double Dead. It's a Ravens Brew coffee. I was telling you about it. I think I told you the other day it was called Dead Dead. That's not right. It's Double Dead, and this is one of my favorite coffee mugs. This is like a, I don't know what it's called. It's like a, I don't know, it reminds me of a landscape where there are trees and rain and a kind of greenish gray sky, which is what it always looks like in Washington State. So anyways, quick announcement before we dive into the coffee talk. Topic today is that I am doing a metabolism masterclass next week. It's going to be Thursday. This is a free online training for women, and I'm going to teach you the 3 mistakes that we make that hurt our metabolism. So I'm going to tell you about those to make sure that you're not making them, because they're super common and you might have, and that's okay, but I want to make sure you aren't going to make them in the future. And then I'm going to show you what to do to rebuild your metabolism if you are ever someone who said that you have a slow metabolism or a broken metabolism, or you wish you had a faster metabolism. I'm going to show you exactly what to do to rebuild it to that flaming hot furnace. So signups for that will actually open later today. So watch my Instagram, all the places. I will put out the link, and I'll put it on the podcast tomorrow. So let's dive into the coffee talk topic. I'm calling today's topic progress on steroids. And first, I want to say that I am not a steroids expert, although I have been a coach for almost 10 years now. There has never been a season of my life where I have either used performance enhancing drugs or coached anyone that has. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't matter to me as long as you're playing fair. That's not what this podcast episode is on. But the basics, here's what I understood the basics to be. And CrossFit was where I sort of like understood this best, because for a little while there, I was really enjoying playing the sport of CrossFit. And so I was, competing for funsies. But when I would compete for funsies, even as a, 30-something woman who had at the time 2 kids, I remember feeling like I could only train 2 or 3 days in the gym. I would go in and I would do the workouts, but then I needed a rest day. I had to take a day off and go do something else, let my muscles recover, sleep extra, all that stuff. And then I would come back the next day and maybe do another workout or 2, but I would feel tired or busted. I remember seeing people who were younger than me potentially didn't need quite as much rest. Guys didn't need quite as much rest. And I remember thinking, okay, I understand for the first time how steroids, not the kind that people use for bodybuilding where they're really focusing on building, a certain aesthetic, but the performance enhancing ones, I understood all of a sudden how this worked. Because if you were taking steroids and maybe it didn't take you quite as long to recover, well, then you could go back to the gym sooner than someone else. So if I was trying to acquire a skill, let's say I was trying to learn a type of pull-up, right? And I would do the practice of the pull-ups, and then my arms would be sore and I'd have to take my day off and I'd have to recover. Well, then I have to rest and not work on that skill anymore. While if I was taking steroids, I would have that extra day of working on that skill. So I would get better at it faster. So I would have like an advantage, right? Like over somebody who was the same age as me, maybe the same experience level, but I could train more days than them because I was taking, quote, steroids. Then I could get better faster, and then I would win the competition, right? So let's just say that that's like our base level of steroid knowledge that we need to have for this podcast episode. And again, I am certainly not an expert, so if I explain that wrong, I apologize, but that's my best understanding of how it would, from your hormone levels being elevated, help you to be able to win would be you could train more, you can recover faster. And so the reason I bring this up, because I'm betting if you're listening to this, you probably aren't using steroids. I mean, you might be, but it's totally fine. Again, I don't care. That's not the point. The point is that over and over again in coaching, I see people who are making decent progress and then they have an off day. Maybe something happens, kids start throwing up, somebody misses the bus, work throws you an extra meeting, you have to stay late, so you miss your workout in the gym. Somebody brings in tiny chocolates left over from Valentine's Day and you eat 17 of them. You thought you were only gonna eat 1, and now your day is thrown off. And what I see happen over and over again is that one off day turns into feeling screwed up for 3, 5, 7 days, maybe even 2 weeks. And if you're not having coaching and support, potentially even longer. That one off day might be the end of you working on those changes at all. And so what happens is we're all going to have off days. We're all going to have a day that goes sideways. The name of the game is who gets back to business faster, who gets on track more quickly and can shake it off and move forward. That's really why I wanted to bring up the topic of steroids, because sometimes it can take us weeks, months, even years to reach a goal that actually doesn't take that long. So for example, if you wanted to lose 30 pounds and you had 30 pounds to lose, you don't need 2 years to lose 30 pounds. However, if when you have an off day, if it takes you 3 weeks to get back on track, it could take you multiple years to make that progress, and it just doesn't have to. Similarly, if you're trying to get stronger and you're working really hard at that in the gym and you have an off day where you miss a workout and it takes you 2 weeks to get back to the gym, well, you're going to take way longer to get to your goal than you would if you just got right back to it. And so the lesson isn't to take steroids, because that's obviously not going to necessarily help us, but the lesson is that how can you get back on track as quickly as possible? What kind of triggers do you need in your life? And again, it's not just motivation. Motivation actually probably won't work at all, because you're not going to feel motivated after you had an off day. That's the last and least likely place you're going to feel motivated. You're not going to feel motivated at all. So in fact, you need something else, a system, a go-to, a strategy to get you back in the gym. I like to call these anchors. For me personally, an anchor is a sweaty workout, because if I've had an off day or an off couple of days, or maybe even it's not something bad happened, maybe it's just travel or a vacation or something like that, and then I'm struggling to get back to business, right? That moment where I just need to get back to doing it, but I got 17 things to do and I just can't seem to let go of the sugar. I enjoyed the treats on the vacay, but now I still want them. I just can't seem to get back to it. Instead of letting that go on multiple days, I rely on my own personal anchor or trigger to help me get back to doing it. And what I personally utilize is a sweaty workout. And here's why. The sweaty workout's going to feel bad. After being off track for a while, sweaty workout does not necessarily feel good, but I know for a fact I can drag myself to the gym and do a CrossFit class. I can do it. I for sure can. I don't know if I can eat clean that day. I don't know if I can get back to my normal workout routine, but I 100% know for sure I can drag my butt to the gym and do that sweaty workout. And sometimes that sweaty workout is at home. I'll just do burpees or I'll do something sweaty. And the reason is because that sweat feeling after I'm done that workout and the release of the endorphins triggers the momentum, not motivation, momentum that helps me then make better choices. So then it's like, well, after I just did that sweaty workout, I'm gonna have some water. After I have some water, I'm probably gonna have something decent to eat. And after I have something decent to eat, I might even go to bed on time. And so now that I've gone to bed on time, I might get up and go to my workout tomorrow. And so I've created a positive feedback loop, but it didn't start from motivation, it started from an anchor, and I intentionally utilized it to get back on track quickly, because I didn't want to waste 2, 3, 5 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months of being off track towards my goals. I want to get back on track as soon as possible. And the only way to do that is to get myself back in the swing of things. And it's too hard mentally, usually, to commit to doing all the things. And so you might need to commit to doing one thing. Finding an anchor for you is going to be the key to getting you back faster. And if you can get back on track faster, then you're going to have less off days and you're going to make progress more quickly. Hence, progress on steroids is what you're going to make, right? You're essentially putting yourself on steroids by creating your anchor, which allows you to recover from your shitty day faster. So what is it that anchor for you? Maybe it's some water, maybe it's a walk. A walk could be a really great anchor because again, it has a similar effect as a sweaty workout. It tends to clear your mind. It gives you fresh air. If you're lucky enough to have sunshine where you live, you can have sunshine. Like it might do the same thing for you. Maybe the meal part is actually easier for you than the workout, in which case I would put together a really healthy, beautiful meal on an actual plate and eat it and enjoy it. And then you might think to yourself, okay, now I can go ahead and get back to the gym. But that trigger, that anchor helps you get back on track sooner. You have to pick something that's not necessarily the easiest, but something that's fairly easy. Because again, if you're in that moment where everything feels hard, you've got to pick something for sure you can do. But it also needs to be something that's meaningful. Like I could for sure drink a glass of water and that doesn't do anything for me personally. It might for you though. And so I could drink a glass of water and it doesn't get me back on track. It's that sweat feeling that helps get me back on track. And so what is the anchor for you? What's that trigger that gets you back? Maybe it's a conversation with your coach. If you've put yourself in a position to have coaching, then sometimes that anchor can be your coach. You get back from the crappy couple of days, or maybe it's a very fun couple of days, whatever it is. And the very first thing you do is text your coach and say, I'm back. I need to get back on track. Like, give me something for today that I can do that gets me my momentum back, not my motivation, my momentum. And that can be a really effective anchor. If you have an accountability buddy, that could be an effective anchor. Hey, you were my running buddy and I'm back. I really need some help. You know, I don't have it in me. Can you meet me? Even if it's just like a 10-minute run. I need to get something in so I can get back in the swing of things. That can be a really effective anchor. You can use anything, but you have to pick something. You have to pick something because if you are wasting days, weeks, months, potentially even years, because you had one day off, then you are delaying how long it's going to take you to reach your goal. And why would you want to do that? Listen, I get it. Most of us have had some sort of weight loss goal our entire life, but that is not something we should accept. That's not the perpetual status quo we want. We don't want to lose weight for the rest of our life. So if you've been perpetually trying to lose weight for the past 20 years, guess what? Wouldn't it be nice to just reach your goal and to stop thinking about losing weight? So if you want to reach your goal and stop thinking about losing weight, then you got to stop quitting every time you get thrown off track. And if you want to stop quitting every time you get thrown off track, you need to get back on track more quickly. How do you do that? I just explained it. You put your progress on steroids by giving yourself an anchor, a system, a strategy, an actual concrete thing that you do or that you rely on that helps get you back in the swing of things. And so hopefully this was a good episode for you. Again, I know this because I struggled with this. Most of the things that I share in Fit Me are all things that I've personally struggled with, and so hopefully this is helpful for you. I want you to think about what your anchor is. If you're not sure, if you are somebody who does get thrown off after one rough day and you're off for days and weeks and you need an anchor, message me. Send me a DM and be like, Christy, I am telling you right now, I have been off track. I'm getting back on track. I just needed to tell somebody. Tell me. I'm literally offering it to you. And so hopefully this helps. Again, if you're not worried about the speed of which you reach your goal, then this episode probably isn't very relevant. But if you do want to get to your goal, and especially if it's a weight loss goal and you've been working on it your whole dang life, let's just get there and be done with it. And then you can enjoy your body and enjoy how it feels. But the key is, it's not that you're not going to have an off day. I promise you are. It's just how fast can you get back to it. So that's my Coffee Talk message for today. As always, thank you so much for listening to Coffee Talk. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Fit Me Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. And do me a huge favor. This means a ton to me. If you have a quick minute today, I would be so grateful if you could take a second and leave me a rating or a review. From what I understand, this is the only way that people actually find out about your podcast is if it's rated or reviewed, then it starts to show up in people's suggested. And that just means so much to me. If you get something out of this episode, thank you so much for listening. And if you are not a part of our Facebook group yet, then come on over. What are you doing? We just finished up Nutrition Boot Camp, but all of the videos, education content is in there. You can go in there and start to consume that stuff and utilize it in your real life. So let's go. Go to Facebook, search Fit Me Community, request to join the group. I will add you and I will see you over there. All right, guys, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.